professionalism. Willing to risk this barely 2 miles wide to carry approximately 20% of the world's entire daily oil supply through a corridor that offers tanker captains no room to maneuver and no margin for error. For Iran, this geography is not a constraint, it is a weapon. Threaten credible closure, and you don't need to win a military confrontation with the United States. You simply need to make the cost of keeping it open high enough that economic and political pressure forces Washington toward negotiation. Mine the strait effectively, and insurance companies stop covering tanker transit within hours. Stop insuring tankers, and shipping companies stop sailing them. Oil prices detonate, economies hemorrhage. Iran wins without firing a single shot at a single American warship. The plan, authorized at the highest levels in Tehran, was built on this logic. Deploy 180 naval mines across the primary shipping lanes under cover of darkness, using vessels small enough to blend with fishing traffic. Complete the operation before dawn. The hardware was genuine and dangerous. The Chinese-manufactured EM-52 rocket-propelled rising mine sits on the sea floor listening for low-frequency pressure signatures of large vessels overhead. When it detects a match, it fires a rocket-propelled 600-pound warhead upward. The Russian MDM-6 bottom influence mine operates through magnetic and pressure detection. Even the older Soviet-era M08 contact mines proved lethally effective during the 1980s tanker war in these same waters. Quantity, variety, layered depth placement, saturation doctrine designed to overwhelm clearance capacity and exhaust the patience of the international community simultaneously. At 5:51 in the morning, 4 minutes after those 6 vessels cleared Bandar Abbas, a JOSIS hydrophone array registered an acoustic anomaly. Cross-referenced in real time against NRO satellite imagery overhead, and simultaneously confirmed by a P-8A Poseidon orbiting at 28,000 feet, 150 miles away, the detection was immediate and unambiguous. The Iranian crews believed they had achieved tactical invisibility. In reality, the American surveillance architecture had been watching them from the moment they began pre-departure equipment checks. The surveillance network covering the Strait of Hormuz is not a checkpoint at the boundary. It is a continuous, overlapping web of sensors that treats the entire body of water as a single monitored space with no blind spots. By 5 o'clock, the intelligence package was at Naval Command in Bahrain. By 5:12, USS Devastator had deployment orders. By 5:18, 3 MH-53E Sea Dragons were lifting off from USS Bataan. The mines were in the water, and that single fact had already begun reshaping the operational calculus of every American naval commander in the region.
A carrier strike group is not a single vessel. It is a synchronized ecosystem built around one irreplaceable asset. USS Abraham Lincoln, operating in the Northern Arabian Sea, represented $13 billion in hardware, 5,000 personnel, and the forward projection capability underpinning American deterrence across the entire Central Command theater. Her air wing of FA-18 Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, and E-2D Hawkeyes constitutes the most concentrated strike package available to regional commanders at any given moment. Everything about carrier doctrine is built around one requirement: keep the carrier moving, keep her accessible, keep her options open. Mines threaten all three simultaneously. The moment confirmed intelligence reached Fleet Command, the strike group's operational geometry changed fundamentally. The strait, already constrained for carrier navigation under normal circumstances, became categorically off-limits until cleared. An FA-18 flying from the Arabian Sea to targets in southern Iran burns approximately 40% more fuel than the same mission flown from inside the Gulf. That fuel burn translates directly into reduced weapons payload, reduced loiter time over target, and reduced responsiveness to rapidly evolving situations. The carrier doesn't move, but her reach shrinks, and in military operations, reach is everything. The second-order effect hits the entire battle group. When the carrier's movement is constrained, every ship in formation adjusts. Destroyer positioning shifts. The cruiser's Aegis radar coverage repositions. The attack submarine extends its patrol patterns to cover approaches that weren't previously primary concern. The entire formation, optimized for fluid open water operations, becomes partially reactive rather than fully proactive. It is defending a constraint rather than exploiting freedom of maneuver. That is a measurable degradation in combat effectiveness even before a single weapon is fired. Mine warfare is uniquely insidious precisely because it is invisible until it is lethal. A missile announces itself on radar. A submarine can be detected acoustically. A mine sits silently on the seafloor, generating no emissions, requiring no maintenance, drawing no power. It simply waits. Every ship commander who has studied naval history knows the asymmetry intimately. USS Samuel B. Roberts struck an Iranian mine in these same waters in 1988, nearly sinking the vessel and wounding dozens of crew. That institutional memory runs deep in American naval culture, and it manifests in real operational behavior: heightened defensive readiness, conservative ship positioning, split command attention between immediate tactical management and contingency strike planning simultaneously.
For approximately 8 hours that morning, Iranian doctrine was achieving exactly the operational paralysis it was designed to impose. The carrier could not approach the strait. Her destroyers operated at elevated defensive readiness rather than offensive posture. Fleet command staff divided attention between immediate tactical management and contingency strike planning simultaneously. The window of leverage Iran had theorized about for decades had cracked open, just enough to feel real. What Iranian planners had not adequately modeled was the timeline. The MH-53E Sea Dragon, 99 feet long and generating 4,380 combined horsepower, was built for exactly this mission. The AN/AQS-14 side-scan sonar it tows functions as a high-resolution acoustic imaging device for the seafloor, generating detailed profiles of bottom features at ranges of 300 meters on either side of the flight track, distinguishing between an EM-52 mine and a rock, and an abandoned fishing net with 95% accuracy. Once confirmed, the SLQ-48 mine neutralization vehicle swims to the target, attaches its charge at the optimal placement point, withdraws, and detonates. One mine neutralized. Next contact. USS Devastator approached from the south. 224 feet of wooden hull sheathed in fiberglass. Maximum speed 14 knots. No visible weapons of any conventional description. Her entire design philosophy rests on a single operational insight the Navy learned through hard experience. You cannot hunt magnetic influence mines from a steel-hulled warship, because the steel hull is exactly what those mines are designed to detect and destroy. Her non-magnetic wooden construction is the fundamental engineering requirement that makes her mission possible. She looks like she belongs in a harbor somewhere. She was built for the most dangerous water on Earth. At 6:12, the first Sea Dragon arrived on station. The mines were not difficult to find. Physics does not allow for acoustically invisible objects on a sandy seafloor when high-resolution sonar is being run methodically across it. Within 90 minutes, crews had located 147 of the 180 deployed mines, tagged each with GPS coordinates, classified them by type. Neutralization began at 7:30. Controlled detonations sent white water columns rising from the surface at regular intervals, visible from Iranian coastal observation posts ashore. Each one delivered an unmistakable message without a single word of diplomatic communication. Your mines are visible, your positions are known, and we are removing your work faster than you can redeploy. But the dimension carrying the deepest long-term strategic weight is not the clearance timeline. Every EM-52 recovered intact was photographed in exhaustive detail, measured precisely, subjected to complete technical analysis, serial numbers recorded, detonator configurations documented, acoustic frequency sensitivity ranges measured, triggering algorithms reverse-engineered from the hardware itself. Iranian procurement networks became visible, Chinese export specifications confirmed and filed, vulnerabilities in triggering mechanisms identified and immediately fed into future countermeasure design. Iran sent weapons into those waters. What came back to American laboratories were research specimens of extraordinary value, provided freely and in useful quantity. Electronic warfare systems can now broadcast false acoustic signatures that trigger premature detonations. Unmanned underwater vehicles can be programmed with the exact magnetic and pressure profiles that mines respond to. Every mine Iran sacrificed made subsequent Iranian mining operations more predictable and more defeatable. The strategic own goal compounds with every recovery. By 11:45, the shipping lanes were certified clear, 8 hours from first acoustic detection to mission complete. The Iranian deployment had consumed 2 hours of execution and 3 weeks of planning, plus approximately $52 million in hardware and operational costs. The American response cost roughly $2.8 million. The Carrier Strike Group, which had spent 8 hours operating under genuine tactical constraint, with its operational reach compressed and its formation posture shifted to defensive, resumed normal operations. Commercial tanker traffic resumed within 24 hours. Global oil markets registered a 2% insurance adjustment and moved on. Iranian doctrine had theorized that a mining operation of this scale would take days to clear, long enough for insurance market disruption to cascade into traffic stoppage, long enough for diplomatic pressure to build, long enough for the operational constraint on American carrier operations to translate into visible strategic concession. 8 hours compressed that entire timeline into a single watch rotation. The window of Iranian strategic leverage snapped shut before the markets, the diplomats, or the international media had time to register that it had opened. The 5,000 mines sitting in Iranian naval storage did not become worthless in a single morning, but they became measurably less credible as deterrent instruments, and deterrence without credibility is expensive infrastructure serving no strategic purpose. The ceiling on Iranian asymmetric naval capability was not merely tested that morning, it was measured, documented, and filed by the same analysts who cataloged the triggering algorithms of every recovered EM-52. Tehran had come to demonstrate the power to hold the world's most critical waterway hostage. What they demonstrated instead was the precise location of the ceiling on that ambition and how far below their strategic expectations that ceiling actually sits. The strait remained open. The tankers kept moving. The carrier strike group absorbed the constraint, neutralized the threat, and resumed its operational posture before the morning watch had ended. Some lessons arrive with fire and the weight of history. This one arrived with sonar pings and robotic vehicles working methodically through pre-dawn water, doing unglamorous work with complete professionalism. For Iranian Naval Command, watching those detonation columns rise from the observation posts ashore, the silence of that efficiency was the loudest possible answer to the question they had spent 3 weeks preparing to ask. They came to reshape the strategic balance. They left, having donated laboratory samples and confirmed with considerable precision exactly how far American countermeasure capability has outpaced their own.